Hey everybody, this is Glenn from Lithosbyte. As you can see, we're doing something a little bit different here, a little bit different from the live stream and the podcast. I wanted to do this because there's something that I think that's very important that I need to share with those who are believers in Christ, and especially those that are stepping out in what God has called them to do at this time, in this hour, in this season. As we take a look at the world around us, the operative word is war, especially as we see what's unfolding in Europe right now. Well, what's true in the physical plane, it's also true in the spiritual plane. A lot of times, the physical plane, the things that we see are a reflection of the things that we don't see or can't see. I know of several believers that have obediently taken steps into their calling, into what God has promised them. And it's been a little bit of a surprise as to what they found. It's not what was expected. Rather than entering into the land of bliss, milk and honey beyond the Jordan River that they thought it would be, they have found themselves engaged in warfare. Stepping out in obedience in their calling, they have encountered resistance, they've encountered struggle, they've encountered opposition, totally not expected. However, if we take a look at the Bible, what happened when Joshua and Israel crossed the Jordan River, it wasn't into a world of complete bliss immediately. Unfortunately, there's been some really bad Bible teaching in the past about what it is to move into the Promised Land. You have to remember that when Israel moved into the Promised Land, they had to fight against giants. Yeah, those pesky giants, they just didn't go away after the flood. They were still there, and they had to fight them. They had to fight the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, all of the inhabitants of the land that were taking claim of their possession, of Israel's possession. And I want to encourage those that have taken those steps of obedience into their calling and have encountered warfare, not to lay down your sword. Moving into the Promised Land, moving into your calling means warfare. There is no question about it. The Bible shows it to us not only in the Old Testament, but in the New Testament as well. We have to remember in 2 Corinthians chapter 10 at verse 4, Paul wrote, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God for the pulling down of strongholds." We love it to apply that verse to, looking back in the Old Testament at the fall of Jericho. And for some reason, we always kind of stop there and don't consider the other 12 battles afterwards. We need to do that. Then also in 2 Timothy chapter 3 at verse 5, it says, "Therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ." So yes, the Old Testament, what's in there, is applicable to us in the church. It's to show us, to give us an idea of what we're moving into. A lot of people will say, hey, this warfare that we deal with, it has to do with our flesh. Well, yes, there is warfare with our flesh, but that was all the warfare taking place in the wilderness before we got across to the Jordan River. So, hey, if you are moving in your calling, and you know for certain it's what God has called you to do, I want to remind you that you have gone on the offensive. Okay? You have gone on the offensive. You have stepped into the territory that is right now claimed by the powers of darkness, but really should be claimed by you for the glory of Christ. And really, you have to remember this. It's not about you. It's about Jesus. It's about His glory. It's about seeing people set free and being saved. That's what this is all about. So if you've stepped out and you're engaged in warfare right now, if you're facing struggle, if you're facing opposition, if you're facing all of the stuff that you did not expect, you are in the right place if you are on the offensive right now. And this is what I want to encourage you with. Do not lay down your sword. It is time to fight. Now, here's some good news. There will be times of respite. There will be a time that you will get to enjoy your inheritance. But all of this, the life that we are called to, is a life of spiritual warfare. Get this. So you get done with the book of Joshua where everybody gets their inheritance and then Joshua dies. Well, guess what happens in the book of Judges in the first chapter? They go back to war with Judah leading them. And you know what? It's those giants again. They show up again. These wars, these battles, they're not going to be easy. All of them. Okay, there are going to be some gimmies. We see that in the book of Joshua. But yeah, you're going to have to fight some giants, and that's just the way it is. So here's my question for you. Is your heart ready for war? Are you ready to endure hardness? And are you willing not to lay down your sword? Well, if so, then I really believe God has got some really awesome things in store for you. And there are going to be people that are going to be touched by what you do. Hey, until next time, peace out and rock on, people. Keep fighting.